Welcome back. So let's begin with the deployment scenarios related to the virtualization. I have already configured my ESXi server with the high specs, with more processors, with the high amount of memory and storage capacity. And if I go for the configuration, you must have to know that the demo server which I have configured, for which IP address is 192.168.0.101. So it's the demo server which we prepare for our deployments related to the virtual machines and other aspects. So let's open the web browser again and connect with this high specs machine for further deployment. So I just need to open my web browser over here and put this IP address over here 101 and just enter. So here let me remove this IP address from here and click on the advanced button and proceed to unsafe. Here again with the same manner I have connected after username and password implementation. So I just put my password over here. Here you can see that right now I have 16 GB of memory and 8 CPUs with more advanced configuration. Okay, and here you can get the summary related to this host machine which I have configured for the demo stations. Right now in the same manner, if we start from the top, you can see that I have host portion where I can manage and monitor. So when I click on those buttons, when I click on the manage button, here you can see that I have a number of options related to the host configuration. Now here you can see that you are getting the detailed information about the system, and here is the hardware information, what type of hardware is available, what are the power management options over here. Okay, if you want to implement the change policy, definitely right now we are just getting the intro of configuration options. So here the licensing option, definitely right now we are in the trial version, so we don't have any license to implement over here for the demo session. But in industry, when you are going to implement virtualization technology in your own infrastructure, in your own company, you have to buy the product. Right now you can see that we have a evaluation mode and the key is not implemented while it will be expire on April 23, 2020 at this time. And what kind of packages available right now? With here you can see that a number of packages available which we installed during the ESXi deployment. And here we also get the services option. Right now the basic direct console UI service is running and other VM syslog service is running, while other services are stopped because we did not implement yet. Here you can get the example. Right now we did not configure anything, so you can see that SSH services is stopped. SSH is basically a remote protocol which is used for the remote connectivity with the ESXi host. So we did not implement the SSH. So here you can see that the service is still in the state of stop. So whenever we implement all these servers, here you can see that SNMP server, simple network management protocol. This server is basically implement, or this service is basically implement for the purpose of getting errors and store at a central location for the for building the log repositories in our infrastructure. So we still did not implement it, so that's why it's in the stop state. Here you can also see the NTP network time protocol is also stopped. Active Directory services not implemented. So those services which are not implemented, are in the state of stop while few services are running. So as we go with the deployment process and we install the Active Directory, SSH and all these configuration parameters, so definitely they will change their state from red to green or make their self operational. Okay, here you can also see another important option, security and user. So right now we are working on the host side, which we installed. Let me clear this. Here you can see that if I want to see the list of users, only a single user is available, which is root, is which have the role of administrator. As we installed the Windows operating system, so we get the default user, and the default user is administrator or a guest. So here root user have the role of administrator, while we can also see the options of certificates. Right now we did not implement any kind of certificate over here, so that's why this option is not applicable. And here you can see the roles. There are number of roles: administrator, anonymous, no access, no cryptography, read only and view. But we can implement a number of other options when we start the deployment process. Okay, so there are few parameters related to the host ESXi host, and on the downside you can also see the monitor button, from where you can monitor performance of the ESXi host, resource utilization related to the storage media, related to the memory, processor, any kind of errors related to the services. So all these options are implemented from here, and you can also configure virtual machine, storage, networking and all the parameters which you want to implement for your own infrastructure. And you can configure a number of ESXi host from here. In past, if I talk about past scenarios, like if I talk about the ESXi 5.5 or ESXi 5.0, at that time we have vSphere client side executable file which we installed over there, and then whenever we want to connect with the ESXi host, we just click on the vSphere client button. It will be open, and then we put the IP address, username and password. But as new versions of ESXi releases as 6.5 or 6.7, they obsolete the client side option or obsolete the client application for the purpose of connectivity. Right now you have the HTML client which you can access from the web browser. So there is no other options for the ESXi host configuration. So it's a major change from 5.5 to ESXi 6.7. So in the previous versions, vSphere client side is available, but right now you have an HTML client and you can access it from the web browser and deploy a number of options related to the configuration.